Hey, how's it going? How's everybody doing? So, I'm gonna do a video now. Fix this fucking stool. Um, Something that kind of happened to a friend of mine, or a friend of my wife's, but I've known her for over 30 years. So, she's still a friend of mine, but just closer. She's been my wife's best friend since high school. But anyway, this is just something that happened to her very recently, and it just the thought of it just really pissed me off. And so sadly she had to say goodbye to her dog on Sunday. I think it was just this past Sunday, which if anybody's ever had to lose a pet, um, you know how heartbreaking it is, how traumatic it can be. You're losing a member of your family. Now I know I'm not going to put it up there with losing a child or losing a spouse or something like that, but for some people in a way it is like when my dog passed away, um, 3 years ago. It was just 3 years ago, a couple weeks ago. Um, it was one of the most, probably the worst thing I've ever experienced, the most heartbreaking thing, and losing my cat too, just not too long before that. And so I know what it's like. Now my vet was a wonderful one. My vet, my the pets vet. She was the nicest lady, cared about animals, loved animals. The first time we brought our dog to the vet, she was 4 years old when we adopted her from actually the dog rescuers. Unfortunately, this group no longer, from what I understand, no longer exists. But we kept in touch with them. Billy, my dog's name was Billy. Billy's whole life. Anytime they had an event, Santa Claus, pictures, and that sort of thing, we would always be there. And Billy knew them the whole time. And when Billy passed, they were really sad because Billy was part of the community here. People knew who she was, but anyway, it was very traumatic, heartbreaking. But the vet, her name was Jocelyn. Um, she was when we brought Billy in. Billy was afraid to go into the room to get examined, to get her. So they wanted to do some blood work because we were taking her in for a checkup, make sure see how healthy she was because she was a very sickly dog when we first brought her home. And all thanks to Tracy, actually bringing her, mostly Tracy's work, bringing her back to health, and you know and getting her happy and stuff. But also, our vet also knew as well because anytime Billy could stub her toe, oh, take her to the vet just in case. She was like our baby. She was so anytime something happened, we were right there always. Same with the cats too. The cats, it's the same thing, but dogs are a little bit more maintenance with a dog. But anyway, so going back to our friend, she brought her dog in. It was time, and it was on a Sunday. Now I don't know all the details because I heard this through Tracy, sort of secondhand. But the vet didn't bring, and like they weren't open. He came in specifically for this, and didn't bring an assistant or anything. Now when Billy passed, Billy was a lab. She was a larger dog. They put the IV. I don't like to think about it because it's gonna get me going, but put the IV in her, I guess the equivalent like her wrist or here, and had two assistants to help her. Well, when our friend she brought her dog in, he didn't have an assistant. It was a smaller dog, not I think it was no, not as small as a cat, but it was still a little dog, a big little dog, I guess. So they had to do it in the neck, and so I think he gave the dog pills or something to relax the dog. And now, when this sort of thing happens, you take your dog in. It's traumatic enough. It's heartbreaking enough. And I think most vets try and make it as easy as they can. That like our vet, and I think this is a common thing. They'll have a candle out, and it'll have like a sign that says somebody's saying goodbye. So don't make a lot of noise, calm, because they want it calm for the person that's in there saying goodbye to their dog or their cat or rabbit or whatever. And it should be as peaceful as possible. But from what I understand, the vet came alone. They gave the dog some pills, and he was putting the IV in, and he couldn't do it. So he was actually getting my friend to help hold the IV in. So to me, that in itself is not right, because you're basically saying, oh, I can't kill your dog myself. Can you help me kill your dog? That's sort of what I got. And from what I also understand, he was being kind of a prick about it. He wasn't being nice. He was just being a complete asshole. And then the dog started throwing up and getting really sick. And then the vet was getting angry and frustrated, to the point where my friend, obviously, she had to leave the room. She couldn't sit here and watch this and deal with it, and who could? And the guy, he's getting angry and he's getting frustrated. Well, this, my friend and it was her daughter that was there, were saying goodbye to their family member, to their a child in a certain way. Because I always consider my pets like children. I mean, I got socks with my dog's picture on it. Like, oh, now I hear the coyotes. Well, they're not my dogs. I don't. But anyway, and he's getting mad. She's crying. She's upset. So he gets the daughter. I think she's 15, maybe 16 years old. Let's say 15, to help him put the needle in the other side to finish, you know, let letting the dog go to sleep. And like, he was just rude and angry. Didn't seem professional at all. And I can understand how upsetting that would be. And it just frustrates the shit out of me that you're in this position to help animals and you just don't care. It's like, if you don't care about animals, but you want to work with them, work in a fucking slaughterhouse, you know? And it just like, I remember my dog's passing, how traumatizing and upsetting that was for me, just watching her peacefully go. She wasn't throwing up. We brought her to the vet. You're not supposed to give dogs chocolate. Um, so what we did, it was her last moments. And so there's a Dairy Queen next door, and we bought her a banana split. She loved bananas. So we bought her a banana split with chocolate, all the things on it she, as a dog, she shouldn't be eating. It's her, what's it going to do? Make her deader? Like, make her sicker? Like, it's, it's her last moments. We took her for a bit of a walk, like she couldn't really walk anymore, but we would put her in the wagon, walk her around the forest. We wanted this to be as pleasant for us as and also for her, because she was very sick. She had cancer in her mouth. She had a tumor. Within a month, it would have choked her. It was just it was time. And as much, same with my friend. It was the same thing. I don't know how sick her dog was, but the time when it's time. And but when someone's bringing their pet in, this very heartbreaking moment in their life, this very sad, emotional thing that they're going through. I get thinking about my dog. But you should be compassionate. Instead of, you're actually yelling at the person whose heart is literally breaking right in front of you. And I can tell you right now, if that had been my dog, I'm not a big tough guy. I don't ever pretend I'm tougher or stronger than I am. I just, but I could tell you right now, once everything was done, Billy had passed. If the person was talking to, I don't care, man, woman, I don't care what your race is, whatever it is, that vet would have been having a fucking floor nap right there on the spot. As soon as it ended, it would have woken up, the busted face, who knows? But I would have lost my temper, and I would probably have had some sort of assault charge, because that is, not only is that not professional, in my opinion, it was kind of cruel and just mean, and not giving a fuck about this person and what they're going through, just so you can get it over with and go on with your day of sitting in front of, cranking it in front of porn, whatever it is you do. This is your job, part of your job. It's not your job, obviously, to say goodbye to animals. Speaking of which, there's Lemmy, like to put animals down. It's actually to make them healthy. But when the time comes to do these sort of things, this part of your job, it is part of your job. It's as much as it sucks. Obviously, it doesn't suck to him. He didn't give a shit. He was just seemed more annoyed that he was there, from what I understand from the story. Like I said, I wasn't there personally, but it was just the guy just sounds like a piece of shit. I mean, we had a vet here in Toronto or near Toronto. I think it was, I don't know if it was right in Toronto or just one of the surrounding cities or towns, but that was actually abusing the pets, like physically hurting the animals, where the point when people would bring their pets in, they'd be terrified. And the vet techs and other vets there had to actually let it happen because they had to get evidence. They were recording him to have him charged and have him lose his practice or his license or whatever. And but what ended up happening, he did get charged, but he wasn't. All they said is you can't be a vet in this city. So he just went to a different city to do it all over again. I don't understand that. I don't put animal abusers as high on the evil list as, say, like child preds or pedos or rapists and that sort of thing. Yes, I said rapist, not grapist. Fucking hate that shit. I think that's demeaning to the person, the victim. If you're talking about something, don't say grape. Just say the word. Fucking drives me nuts. But anyway, but I do put them high on the list of people that should be taken out of society. And if that was my dog, I would have done something. I would have snapped right there. But anyway, it's just I just had to share this. It was just bothering me. I mean, like, because my pets here are, oops, family. Almost made a mess. That would have sucked. And here, over here, even, we still have, so there's no light here, but that's Bug. That was my cat. Sorry about the bad lighting. And this little statue is actually his urn. And there he is. Kind of a goofy picture, and that's him when he was a newborn kitten. He was actually born in our closet. And then down here is Billy's. Those are some of her toys. And that's a picture of her back there, behind the monkey there. And that's her paw print. I can't see the screen, so I'm hoping it's in the screen. And her ashes are actually behind this picture frame here, wherever we are. Yeah. I mean, pets are family. And if this guy can't understand that he was getting mad at my friend, this young woman, well, not young, my age woman, this woman, for inconveniencing him to go in and say her last goodbye to her little fur baby, then this guy can just jump off a fucking bridge. I don't care. The guy, he should not be a vet. Okay, he should not be a vet. Like I said, go work in a slaughterhouse if you don't care about killing animals. If you have no compassion for them, you're worthless. That's for this guy. Anyway, sorry, it was bothering me all day, to the point I was actually at work almost in tears thinking about it and thinking about my dog and everything. So sorry, it was a little bit of a rant, but I don't know. What's your opinion on that? I mean, should vets be more caring when they're doing this procedure, or should they just chalk it up as part of the job and not give a fuck, even when the person that's heartbroken and traumatized and crying is sitting right there beside you, and then try and make them help with the procedure, even though you're basically telling them to hell kill their pet? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm an idiot, but I don't think so. Anyway, if you watch this, thank you so much. Comment below and tell me what you think. I'm just really curious on what side of the fence other people are sitting on, because my opinion, and most people who have pets, your pets are family, and you take care of them like they're your family. Anyway, that's about all I got to say about that, and I guess until the next one.